There is nothing like the emotion of a game matching the Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers. Last June, there were 7 of them for the NBA championship, and they brought to the surface the tension, the electricity, and the fever that has set this rivalry apart from others. The images are not easily forgotten. Magic Johnson symbolizes what the Lakers stand for: flamboyance, excitement, and a freewheeling style. Larry Bird represents what the Celtics are all about: strength, grit, and perseverance. Earlier this season in Boston, Kevin McHale's late basket beat the Lakers, who had seen this ending before. Now the second and final meeting between the clubs takes place in sunny California. And today in the Forum, once again, they go at it, the Celtics and the Lakers. It's the best in the East against the best in the West, and perhaps that's how it should be. We're in the Forum. The teams that played for the title last year are tangling once again. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton, along with Tom Heinsohn and Pat O'Brien. And, of course, this game has significance for the Los Angeles Lakers because they felt they should have won last year's championship series, Tom Heinsohn, and they also felt they should have won the first meeting between the two clubs. The meaning is strong for the Lakers, I think.
Very, very much so, Dick. For them to lose at home against an Eastern team would put a little stuff in their minds going into the playoffs that they don't want to be there. Psychologically, a home court win against the Boston Celtics is very much necessary.
We know the significance for the Celtics because they want to remain ahead of the Philadelphia 76ers, as they are by 1 game in the Atlantic Division. But there's a story with the Boston Celtics. They may sign Ray Williams, that talented free agent guard, at some point, which indicates to me, Tom Heinsohn, that the Celtics themselves feel they have a problem with their depth.
Well, they have loaded up their 6 guns, fired 6 players at the rest of the NBA, and now they're searching for a third guard. They have not been happy with the contributions of either Carlos Clark or Quinn Buckner. So they're still very much, most teams at this point in the season, Dick, have their bench in order and are into concepts on how to use that bench. The Celtics are still searching for the third guard.
But the Celtics have the best team in the NBA right now, and the Lakers have won 6 consecutive games, and they're hot as well. So coming up is the Celtics and the Lakers, the NBA on CBS. We're back here at the Forum in a sellout crowd, and right now let's meet the starting lineups. And we're going to begin with the Boston Celtics and then the Lakers. First, for the Boston Celtics, and their head coach is Casey Jones, looking to repeat as a championship coach. The front line, Cedric Maxwell and Larry Bird. The center is Robert Parrish. And in the backcourt for Boston, Dennis Johnson and Danny Ainge. For Pat Riley, looking for his 200th career victory this afternoon, Kurt Rambis and James Worthy are the forwards. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the center. And in the backcourt, Earvin Magic Johnson and Byron Scott in his second year. Those are the starting 5. We're set to go. The Lakers are in the light uniforms, gold, and there is Larry Bird, who did not suffer a broken nose after being hit in the All-Star game by Adrian Dantley in Indianapolis. Lakers have it with a good save by Byron Scott. And I can tell you right off the bat, Tom Heinsohn, that this crowd is alive like maybe we haven't seen before.
Like it's the 7th game of the playoffs.
Inside to Bird. Second effort. Is there tension between these clubs as they start butterflies?
Well, I would say so at this stage of the game, but the Lakers really want to control the pace of the game early, Dick, make things happen on the fast break.
Here's Worthy. And it's still L.A. ball.
And Boston necessarily wants to stop that and make them go to their half-court offense, which happens to be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar more often than not.
And James Worthy has been more into it. Byron Scott, who's been a red-hot shooter, ties the game.
Boston doesn't run quite as much as L.A. They don't have that same speed that the Lakers have.
Maxwell up on top against Rambis. Rambis gets his hand on it. Good defensive play by Kurt. And Ainge picks off a Kareem pass. Bird is free in the left corner. No one sees him. Bird saves it.
Well, Boston counts a lot on their offensive board strength. That time, Larry Bird showing what he can do there.
Rebounding has been the key when these teams play. Cedric Maxwell, the baseline, and it's 4-2.
Looks to me, Dick, like they're going to work James Worthy over in that low post. Both Bird and Maxwell posted him up.
Dennis Johnson is guarding Magic Johnson, and that is a classic matchup between two of the best guards in the league. Into Rambis, wants to get Bird in foul trouble, and Rambis getting the basket. Since he's returned to the starting lineup, Rambis has been the igniter for the Lakers.
I'll tell you, that's unusual for them to start out going to Rambis. They usually go to Kareem.
Dennis Johnson, who has been cold lately from the outside, puts the Celtics in front again. And here's Scott. He has averaged 23 points in those last two games as Byron Scott.
He's more confident this year, Dick, than he was last year as a rookie. And Pat Riley gave him the green light to shoot anytime he wants.
Bird. Larry Bird has gone over the 30-point mark 20 times this year. Gives you an idea of what kind of scorer he has been.
Well, look at Magic just push that ball up, even on made shots.
Ainge is on Johnson right now on a switch. Rambis takes Bird inside. He missed the short shot. Maxwell clears. Danny Ainge, who like Byron Scott, has been shooting well. Called for the turnover. Traveled.
Maxwell pushing that ball up the floor is not the fastest guy on the Celtics to bring the ball down the middle.
9 minutes, 20 seconds remaining in the first period. The crowd tells you that it's a special game. Magic Johnson is fouled before the shot. And it's on Danny Ainge. First foul of the ball game. The Celtics have won 15 of 17 against Western Conference teams. One of their losses on this current West Coast trip when they were blown out at Portland. Rambis setting a screen for Scott. They go to Kareem for the first time handling the ball. Celtics stop it. And there's Rambis.
Bird went over to help out, double-team Jabbar. They almost gained possession. Instead, it went to Rambis, who Bird left.
Harris inside. Yeah. Good position. And now we have our first L.A. foul of the game.
Here's the double team on Kareem, but watch Rambis 31 underneath the basket. It goes to him. Nobody's got him. Maxwell behind him. That's what happens sometimes if you leave too early.
The foul is on Byron Scott, and that's the first Laker foul of the ball game. And coming to the line here is Robert Parrish, who has been scoring well lately and had 22 rebounds in his last effort.
I'll tell you, he's been rebounding very well, Dick, getting in there and putting his physical presence underneath those boards exceptionally well.
Does he run the court as well as he used to?
I don't think he does, Dick. When Bill Fitch was coaching the Celtics, he really got out there and fast broke. Got in and filled that wing. Now he kind of walks it up every once in a while.
Dennis Johnson on the offensive board. So Tommy mentioned at the top, the Celtics' relentless offensive pressure on the glass pays off. And it's an 11-8 game Boston. Dennis Johnson is on Byron Scott. Ainge on Magic Johnson. Kareem. And Parrish out-muscles Worthy for the ball. And here's Ainge down the right line. Johnson. Maxwell against Kareem. 3-second violation against the Celtics, and they turn it over.
Well, they moved it around very nicely, but Robert Parrish never got up over half court, so the Lakers had 5 defenders against 4 offensive players of the Celtics.
New York!
The Lakers, as Tommy mentioned, need a victory against an Eastern team, especially at home. They got one against Philadelphia a couple of weeks ago on Friday night here. Magic working against Ainge, going all inside. Parrish the rebound. Outlet pass, he can't have it. Bird. And Kareem right now leaves Bird for Worthy. Worthy's been handling a lot more of a defensive responsibility against some of the big scorers. Bird, though, burns him.
Worthy at that time tried to really deny him the ball, and once it got past him, Bird was wide open for the shot. A gamble that didn't work.
The rebound story tells you why the Celtics are up by 5. Kareem, when he gets it that low, forget it.
Boy, when he gets the ball in the yellow area, you're exactly right, Dick. It's 2. Parrish having a tough time denying him the position he wants.
7.5 remaining, first period. Parrish going inside, and it was Magic Johnson who got his hand on the ball. 3-on-3 now. Bird ahead of the field, but Kareem stayed back defensively. But Larry Bird hitting from outside. He's the best outside shot the Celtics have.
They'll both try and take advantage of getting back on defense.
Magic hits. And we have an early shootout at 15-14. Byron Scott on Danny Ainge, who's been playing well lately. How he got into Parrish, I'll never know, but Parrish was held.
I got to tell you, was he held? He had him right in the crook of the arm, Jabbar.
First foul on Kareem. We're going to take a break, but it's a heated game already. Second game of last year's World Championship Series. L.A. leads 1-0 and threatening to go up 2 games. Seconds remain in regulation time, and then the big steal by Gerald Henderson and the basket. And then in overtime, the veteran Scott Wedman hits a key jumper from the corner, and the Celtics survive to even the series. Well, Gerald Henderson was traded to Seattle, and Danny Ainge has answered all questions about his ability to start. But the questions now, of course, as we pointed out at the top, Tommy Heinsohn, what about the depth at guard? That's still a problem for the Celtics.
They've searched mightily. They've given each player, Buckner and Carlos Clark, opportunities over stretches to get the job done, and they're not satisfied with the results.
Ainge is handling the ball now, guarded by Scott. Kareem very tight on Parrish. They double Robert right now. And here's Danny Ainge from the corner. He has been a hot scorer indeed. In fact, he had 20 points to lead the Celtics in the first meeting between the teams. He was the high scorer in that game. 6.5 remaining, first period. Here's Byron Scott. I'll tell you, Ainge and Scott, the off guards, really are dead-eye shooters lately.
Well, they sure are. And that time the Celtics switched out, even in trying to anticipate Scott getting the ball, and he still scored.
Maxwell versus Bird. Magic Johnson is doubling when he can. Bird with a runner. Magic with the rebound. That's called coast to coast. And that's what Magic Johnson does best.
Boy, he's a special player. When he rebounds like that and pushes it up the court, that gives you extra everything. Watch this as Magic is right in the pack and puts it on the floor and immediately puts pressure on the Celtics defense, so they have to split and let him go by.
Bird will inbound for the Celtics. His lead cut to 1. And we have a foul called against the Lakers. You know, Magic Johnson told us yesterday at practice that he looked at the tapes of last year's series against Boston, and he felt that he let Dennis Johnson force him into setting up. He says, I'm going to run strong to the hoop no matter who's guarding me, and he's done that already.
Well, every team that plays Magic tries to get him to stop that fantastic rush up the court, but sometimes you're not too successful. Most of the times you're not too successful.
Lakers with their first lead of the ball game. The foul was on Byron Scott. And now they're going to call Danny Ainge with his second personal foul. So Ainge and Byron Scott each with 2 personals. Pat Riley finally won an All-Star game last year after 2 previous defeats. Last week, that was, in Indianapolis. Kareem walks with the ball, and you can credit the Celtics for that.
Good team defense from the weak side. There was a mismatch. Danny Ainge ended up with Jabbar, and Maxwell and Bird both saw it, gave support defense.
Lakers by 1, Boston. With a record of 43-10 right now, best in the league. They're 2-1 on this current trip. 6 games in all. Dennis Johnson, line drive from the corner. Dennis grew up in Los Angeles and used to come to the Forum to see Walt Frazier play. That was his boyhood idol.
No, his nemesis is Magic Johnson.
Good pass to Worthy. And a foul inside, but it was Magic who got the ball to James Worthy with a bullet.
You know, Bill Burtka says about Magic Johnson, he reads the defense of other players being guarded. Watch here, as Maxwell had his head turned, he just slid it right by his ear. So he reads the defense of the guys that are playing, and Bill Burtka, the assistant coach, saying that Magic is really having a year in that department.
Robert Parrish commits the foul, his first of the game, and Kevin McHale, who's not only the best 6th, maybe the best 7th man off the bench, too, as Maxwell goes to the Pines. McHale can play 3 different forward positions. He's really 2 men off the bench, isn't he?
Center, power forward, and quick forward.
Lakers by 1, under 5 minutes remaining, first period. Bird finds Danny Ainge, cross court. Off the glass. Here are the Lakers, 4-on-2. And Dennis Johnson got his hands on it and forces the turnover.
I tell you, Larry Bird, when he's out on the top, instead of going underneath the basket, they have a better chance of stopping the Laker fast break. It was very effective in the playoffs last year, but they're trying to work him in the post right now against James Worthy, perhaps Worthy to pick up some additional fouls.
Lakers in their half-court offense. Keep in mind, it's Worthy and Kareem are the key men in this scheme. An illegal defense called against the Boston Celtics, and someone was left not guarding someone. That's a warning. The second time will be the technical.
I believe it was Larry Bird who was down in the paint as everybody else was up top, above the foul line. He was supposed to be up there himself.
Wide open is Irvin Johnson. And Worthy comes out of nowhere like Superman. Lakers would rather run, but they're setting it up. Kareem inside. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar will be 38 years old in April, but he's turned back the clock this season.
And Magic picks you apart if you're not looking. If somebody's got a half step to the basket, he gets the ball.
Larry Bird, who has 8 points, now is in double figures. The first player on the court to be in that situation. Laker lead is 1. 3:35 to go, first period. Worthy gets 3 from Bird.
That is a tough matchup for Larry Bird. He's got real super quickness against him.
Kurt Rambis got in the way, and it was last touched by McHale, and Michael Cooper, who's a fine defensive player, replaces Byron Scott, who goes out with 6 points and 2 personals. Cooper, one of the best defensive players. He's in the guard position. His shooting has been spotty lately. Double on Abdul-Jabbar. Doesn't help.
Total disdain when he's on that side of the court. On a double team, he'll shoot the hook, turn away from it.
Timeout. Tommy, one of the ways to cut down on the opposition's star is to make him work defensively.
Yes, and here you see Larry Bird, and he has a real problem matchup-wise with Worthy, who's got much better speed. Bird is going to try and get out in the passing lane, not let him feel him, but makes a poor gamble, and it goes into Worthy and over the top, and teams try to take Larry out of the offense by making him play defense.
He still has 10 points, and look at the field goal percentage. Both teams are hot, very hot, and are even at this point. 3 minutes exactly remaining in the first period. Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn from the Forum. Johnson's pass picked off by Abdul-Jabbar, who traveled. So the Celtics still have the ball.
They had Larry Bird covered perfectly that time, the Lakers, and he tried a backdoor, and Kareem was sitting right in there, almost picked it off, and made a great play.
Larry Bird has a quiet 10 points, if he could say that so far. Bird shooting quickly over Rambis. Maybe he's getting a louder 12.
It's a loud 12. It'll be a screaming 14.
6 for 8 for Larry Bird from the field. 2:35 remaining first period. It's been tight and taut. The Lakers are up by 3. They double, triple, and Larry Bird forced the turnover from behind. A 3-on-1 for the Celtics. And a great play by Larry Bird defensively, helping out on the big man for the Lakers. Coming right back is Magic Johnson, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
We're going to see McHale.
A little bit, Magic.
Watch McHale here, and Bird uses McHale to pop out. Just enough time to get over Rambis, who's not the swiftest running outside, but Larry Bird's outside shooting very important for the Celtics.
Bob McAdoo, only his 3rd game back. He had an injured heel, played once in 3 weeks. Is into the ball game replacing Rambis. The foul was on Kevin McHale as Magic Johnson hits the first free throw. So McAdoo comes in the ball game, and of course his timing isn't 100%, but he gives them some good offense.
I'll tell you, and he presents a problem for McHale because he can shoot from the outside, and also from his days at Buffalo can defend against the big guy in a low post pretty well.
You liked him when he played then, especially, didn't you?
I sure did. Up in Buffalo, it gave me fits.
28-25, the Lakers lead. Boston took the early lead. McHale will go to the line. Kevin McHale, danger off the boards. Kevin McHale studies the game before he comes in to see where the help is needed. Is it going to be the center, as he said, or the power forward, or the small forward? And it's a challenge for him. He goes in and takes care of it.
Well, I think his biggest contribution coming off the bench, Dick, is scoring points and banging the boards right away. And he's got that type of mentality. He feels, he's a very cocky guy. He feels that, so what, I'm on the bench. I'm going to make a contribution as soon as I can.
1 out of 2 for Kevin McHale. Winding down to 2 minutes remaining in the first period. The Lakers lead by 2. Johnson, extra pass back to Kareem. And Kareem, little contact inside with Parrish, who commits personal foul number 2. As into the ball game, Dennis Johnson goes out, and Carlos Clark, one of the men, second-year guy from Mississippi that Tommy was talking about in the search for the third guard.
I think he's a pretty good defensive player, Clark, but his offense isn't up to snuff.
McAdoo guarded by Larry Bird. McHale on Worthy. Under 2 minutes to go in the first period. One-on-one defense against Abdul-Jabbar with a lefty hook. And McHale took too many steps. He was knocked off balance, and he's called for traveling.
Those are the kind that really hurt you. Had a clean rebound, but the Lakers harassed him a little bit and forced him to walk. They get all over the rebounder, so that's a tough outlet pass. It worked effectively that time for the Lakers.
Johnson with a screen from McAdoo. Magic Johnson, he had a 40-foot hook shot the last game the Lakers played Friday night against Atlanta. Just beat the 24-second buzzer. He's trying to beat you in the hook shot department.
Listen, that beats my record.
Here's Ames. Worthy the rebound with 1:13 to go in the period. 4-point Laker lead. Clark doing a good defensive job on Irvin Johnson. 10 on the shot clock. McAdoo setting another screen. Magic will use it.
Boy, as he improved from the outside, he shoots so well with much confidence on the outside now. When he first came in, he couldn't buy a basket from out there.
12 points for Magic Johnson, and the Lakers have their biggest lead here in the first period. 9 on the clock, 40 in the first period clock, and they're going to call a Laker foul. It'll be their 5th, and that means Boston will shoot 2. Michael Cooper commits the personal foul.
Here's Larry Bird underneath, and that's where the Lakers really want to have him, is underneath the basket. As Cooper finally busts out and get it into McHale, there's a foul on the play. But what they want to do, the way Bird elects to play with Cooper, is take him close to the basket, and Pat Riley says that's where I like Bird to play underneath with Michael Cooper. It cuts down on his passing, his outside shooting, and Bird says, hey, I'm going under there because I feel like an out-rebound Cooper. So let's see which one works out for the best. Which strategy?
32-27 as Bird makes 1. 35 seconds remaining. Worthy goes high for the pass from Magic. 6 for James Worthy. He's quick inside.
Well, I'll tell you, again, a great pass from Magic right by Kevin McHale. As soon as McHale turned his head, Magic made the pass.
10 on the shot clock. 3-second differential to the game clock. 6 now. Bird had to get rid of it in a hurry. Carlos Clark on a big fake on Worthy. And with 5 seconds to go, the big basket makes it 34-29 at the buzzer. The miss. 1 second to go. And that's the end of the first period. The Lakers 34, Boston 29. Let's go back to Game 3 of the World Championship Series in L.A. In the series tied, Magic Johnson with a stellar performance. 14 points, along with a record-breaking 21 assists. Combined with the open court play of James Worthy. And the old man doing what he does best. An easy win for the Lakers and a series lead. But there were other games that Magic Johnson had his problems, and he was criticized for his play against the Celtics to an extent, and he said that criticism will always stay with him. But, of course, in the game basketball in any sport, you can always redeem yourself.
Well, I think Magic Johnson really is a victim of his own image. People expect him to make a spectacular play every play.
You see St. John's rolling over DePaul, #1 ranked Redmen. College basketball.